another 31 Days of Horror 2019 video. Today we are checking out, I don't know, you can't believe I haven't seen The Collector yet, but I haven't. And like we said, James would pick certain ones, but Lesley actually wants to watch this. So it wasn't a matter of being indecisive, it was Lesley wanted to watch this, so James didn't have to pick anything for her.
No.
So yes, The Collector.
I really hope it's good.
Thoughts beforehand?
I'm kind of looking forward to it, but I don't know exactly what it is, so I'm nervous.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's like a slasher film. I don't know much about it, but I do know a lot of people who are like really like it. So it should be good. Right? Yeah, there is a sequel. So yeah, I'll say we're both gonna like this movie. Maybe. Fingers crossed.
I'm gonna say I will like it at least a 2.
At least a 2. All right. Well, let's watch it now, and then we'll come back and tell you what we actually think about the film. And we're back with 2009's The Collector. Yes, I know. Can't believe I hadn't seen it.
Me either.
Well, okay, so what is The Collector about? I have no idea. How do you even describe that?
It's totally not what I thought it was going to be about.
The Collector refers to the main bad guy, if you didn't figure that out. And it revolves around him making a collection in a family's house. How do you describe this?
I don't know.
I'll just go right to here. Maybe it says on the back. For handyman and ex-con Arkin, a rare gem inside a supposedly empty house could be the ticket to his family's financial freedom. But when a masked psychopath makes it inside first, Arkin must either save the people he came to rob or become part of the killer's sick collection catalog in blood, bone, and tears. Sure.
That doesn't tell you anything.
That doesn't tell you anything, but there's, like I said, how do you even... yeah.
Here's what I thought it was. I thought, and I even read that, and I still thought that, like, it's about some guy who's like a killer, and, you know, he goes around and collects, like, maybe different body parts from people or something like that, and then, like, the guy finds it. That's what I thought. And then, you know, then he's in trouble because he found it. That's what I thought.
Okay, yeah. I can see that. I didn't read anything, and honestly, I kind of thought that's what the movie was about.
That would make sense, right?
He was either collecting people or collecting, body parts or something like that. But that was not... Well, maybe that is the case. I don't know. Getting on to the people involved, it's directed by Marcus Dunstan, who is actually more known for writing films than he is directing, and this happens to be his first directing job. He then went on to direct the sequel and something called The Neighbor and others, not a lot, but that's because he's mostly known as a writer, where, Project Greenlight, that's where he started off, so I'm not surprised. Then he went on to Feast, and Saw 4, and 5, and Feast 2, Saw 6, Feast 3. Yeah, so he's done a lot of writing in the Saws, the Collectors, and the Feast series. So yeah, he's done a lot of writing. I'm surprised he hasn't directed more of the films that he wrote, but I guess that's just the way it works sometimes. he obviously wrote this film along with Patrick Melton, who looks like he is also, you know, worked with him on many other projects, because it seemed they have a very... Yeah, so Project Greenlight, so I guess they're writing partners, because he also wrote Feast and Saw 4 and 5 and Feast 2 and Saw 6, etc., etc. Exactly the same writing credits as his partner there. The film itself, the criminal, the guy who's trying to get, you know, down on his luck, he's going to rob this family, is played by Josh Stewart, who I don't know that I really recognized him. He looked kind of,
He looked a little familiar.
he looked a little familiar, but at the same time, he has kind of that look that's just kind of standard in the business. But when you look him up, he's done. If you ever watched Third Watch, I think I've seen a few episodes of Third Watch. And he was Brendan Finney in that. In Jekyll, he played Tommy. In The Haunting of Molly Hartley, he was Mr. Draper. So he's played a whole bunch of stuff. And he's an active working person, doing television episodes. He was in 4 episodes of The Walking Dead. And he does seem to stick a lot with kind of genre fare. He's worked with, you know, the same writer-director team again in other movies. If you saw Insidious: The Last Key, he plays Gerald in that one. If you managed to catch the Punisher TV series, James is going crazy over there. He just wants to be in the video, I think. He played John Pilgrim in the Punisher series, so he's been in quite a few things, which may be why I kind of thought he looked familiar, but at the same time, he hasn't been that main face in a main Hollywood film, so there's that. Outside of that, I mean, there is the family, but they don't really... I mean,
You don't see them.
you don't really see them a lot. They have small bits and such. Essentially, it's Josh Stewart playing the role of Arkin, who is... Buddy!
We need to take him.
Alright, pausing for a second. As I was saying before we had to take a pause there, yeah, the only real guy is the Josh Stewart playing the Arkin character. Though there are other actors obviously involved in the film, they aren't really... Well, outside of the main bad guy, who is Juan Fernandez. But you never see him because he's always in a mask. So let's see, what has Juan Fernandez been in, just out of curiosity? Because I don't know what he looks like, because he was in a mask.
He did a lot of things.
Wow. Started off in Salome from 1972. Salvador, he had a small role in there. Bulletproof, Wildfire. Crocodile Dundee 2, he was Miguel. What? Wow. Kinjite, Forbidden Subjects. Arachnophobia. Liquid Dreams. Like, wow. Aces, Iron Eagle 3, Necronomicon, Book of the Dead. Of course, all of these are like bit parts, but he's still like in a lot of stuff. Like, a lot of TV episodes, and he was in Cheyenne. Wow. So this guy's been working very steadily. Very steadily. And all sorts of stuff. And let's see, the last dated thing is 2017, A Felon in New York. And then he's got a whole bunch of stuff after that, but they don't look they've ever been finished. But anyways, you don't actually see him because he always has a mask on, which is part of the film, is you don't know who the collector is. But that being said, now that we've gone over the technical details, I'm sure Lesley has a few things to say about this one.
Well, first of all, I was a little disappointed that it wasn't what I thought it was. Because the whole time I'm just like, wait, this is completely different. Like, I thought I was going to see a whole collection of things from this collector, and that's not what this is. But it was not that bad. It's like one of the things that I hate the most. It's like somebody going into somebody's house, even though the people aren't there. Like, that stuff bothers me a lot. Obviously, if the people are there, like, that's worse. But that, like, freaked me out in the beginning. I'm like, wait a second. This guy's there. Like, it bothered me. So that was alright. There was... the amount of, like, I guess you call it gore stuff that happened also really surprised me. Like, I found myself looking away quite a few times because I was just like, oh god, I know what this, I can't, I can't. And I've seen a lot of stuff, but I don't want to necessarily see that stuff. So that surprised me also. Now, the acting, like, in the beginning, when it first started, I was sitting there like, oh my god, this is gonna be so bad. I just, like, really, I can't. No, I can't. But then, excuse you, then it kind of got a little better because then more action stuff happened. But it wasn't that bad. But I'm still disappointed because I want the collector. Where you go when you see the collector thing?
Yeah, I get why people like this movie. I get it. I totally get it. The character of the collector is kind of cool.
The whole thing doesn't make sense, though.
Yeah, we'll touch on that in a bit, but yeah, the collector is cool. The gore, there's a lot of, we'll call them traps. Harken to Saw and those types of films. There's a lot of aspects of those films in this type of movie. So yeah, there's a lot of over-the-top gore effects and traps and such. And I will say spoiler right here. If you don't want to know, it's not going to be give away too much, but it will be something that you don't know at the beginning of the film. The traps. So this guy, this collector, sets traps all over this house, which are cool. The traps are cool. But, and here's where we have a problem. We're both on the same page here. The movie starts off during the day, and the guy who's down on his luck is working at the house, and then he goes and he meets up with his girlfriend, and she needs money right away that night, so he makes a deal that he's going to rob this house that night. So he goes back to the house, and I mean, how many hours could have passed? What? 4?
At
the most, maybe 5. And so he goes back to the house, and of course the people who were in the house were supposed to be going on vacation. So at some point between these people going on vacation and him coming back, the collector has managed to booby trap the entire house. How? Like, I mean, this guy moves fast. And where did he keep all of these things? Apparently, you know, he must have a vehicle of some sort, because some of these traps are pretty big, we'll just say. And other ones just aren't. But at the same time, there's some construction work needed to put these things together. There's some that are really, really elaborate. And and such. And yeah, it's that whole time thing that I don't quite understand how it worked.
No, literally, like I said when we were watching it, if he had like, you know, a week or even like a weekend or, you know,
Yeah,
a
had they
couple days or
gone on
something,
vacation,
you know?
and then it was the last day before they were supposed to come back.
Then you get it.
And then okay, they've been gone. He's obviously been there the entire time waiting for them to come back, and then it works. But I get the impression from the film that this is all during the same day.
Yeah.
And it was weird because at first, you know, the guy who's stealing stuff goes in and he goes to certain areas of the house, but he doesn't see any of these traps.
Oh.
And yet when he goes back to some of these areas, now there are traps there. And it's like, what? Did he just luck out and just walk the perfect, you know, path to not hit any of these things?
Seriously.
Even though he's paying attention and tiptoeing around, making sure that there's actually nobody home when he's robbing the place type thing. So that was my one thing, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's people online who had the same problem, and people out there who are defending it and trying to explain how things work. And that's cool. If you have an explanation for how that worked, maybe we didn't understand it properly. Maybe what we saw, what we thought we saw was actually happening. Comment down below. We would love to hear if you have an explanation for this. I'm sure there is something. Maybe in the sequel something is explained about that, or even just the whole idea of the collector. Because there's a small one sentence
Something was
type
mentioned,
thing,
yeah,
that's kind of explained them, but really doesn't.
no.
So that mystique of the collector, and I get it. That's how you end up with the sequel. Is if you have this guy called the collector and you never really explain him, then yeah,
It's a cool premise.
it is a cool premise.
To me, the collector, the way it was in this movie, didn't go together because there was no explanation, and it was just, I don't know.
I'm okay with the no explanation. It's the time portion that doesn't work, because to me, for the time to work, he has to be supernatural. He has to be something that just moves faster. But in the movie, he comes across as a regular guy, like a human being. And so that being said, something just, it didn't feel right to me. But at the same time, I enjoyed the movie. I like the Saw movies, so having traps with all this blood, it's like Home Alone for like R-rated adult horror movies. Like that's what it was. And I love Home Alone. So Home Alone for an R-rated horror movie for adults, I don't have any problems with that.
I had to look away. So
You didn't see all the traps. We were wounded a few times because we missed it.
well, when you're watching it and you're busy,
Yeah,
you know, you miss stuff.
Yeah. There was a few times where I was like, oh damn! She's like, what? What did I miss? What did I miss? I was like, oh, we gotta rewind that. So yeah, what would you rate it?
Well, it wasn't horrible, and like I did, you know, like I felt for that guy. You know, I was kind of rooting for him, so that's always good. It wasn't fantastic. I don't know if it's like 2.5 or 3, maybe 3.
3?
3, yeah, 3.
For me, I think I'm gonna start at a 3. It's very, very solid, but I think the enjoyment factor that I had with this and the traps and stuff and the gore would pump it up to a 4. But I'm gonna take away a 0.5 point because of the damn timeline factor, and I can't. It doesn't work for me. So I'm going 3.5.
Oh, Holy shit.
for this film. I would watch it again.
I wouldn't watch it.
You wouldn't watch it again? Would you recommend it though?
I would recommend that someone make a movie where the collector is actually a guy that goes around collecting shit. Yeah, whatever. You can watch it. It wasn't horrible. It just in
You
my
gave it a
mind,
3. You can't.
No.
You can't say it wasn't horrible and then give it a 3.
No, it was all right.
Horrible was yesterday.
No, there was. Oh god. Oh my god. No, there was a lot of things that surprised me, and the gore wise, I was just like, oh god, really? So that's why it's a 3. So yeah. Just don't expect that it's a collector going around collecting things. And is there a movie like that? Can you let me know? Because I want to watch that one.
Yes, if there's a movie about a guy called The Collector who goes around collecting body parts, Lesley wants to watch it.
That sounds so bad. But I do. Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, I think that's essentially The Collector in a nutshell. What
Day
we
2
thought of
is
it.
alright.
Day 2 is all right. So,
Day 3's gotta suck.
well, yeah, probably. But yeah, let us know. I know you've already seen The Collector. Comment down below what you thought of it.
Don't say anything about the sequel because we haven't seen that.
Yeah. Don't mention the sequel and other short of they explain everything that you're wondering about in the sequel.
Then we have to watch that.
Right? If you say that, then that's fine. But we don't want to know what's in the actual sequel. We don't want to know anything about The Collector. We don't want to know anything that wasn't really explained. If you have a theory that doesn't come from the sequel, feel free to go with that. Whatever. If you've just made it up or something in your head, that's fine. You can comment that down below. But don't spoil it for us, because we will eventually watch the sequel, I'm sure.
Let's watch it tomorrow.
I may own it. I don't know. Anything's possible. But yeah, we love to hear from you. But yeah, more 31 Days of Horror to come. This is 2 movies down. 29 more to go. So, thanks for watching. Till next video, take care. I think he's looking at ghosts and stuff sometimes, you know, like.
He's looking at the light. Don't even start. It's the light.
Anyways, take care. Have a good one. Oh no! I'm getting attacked. Here, take care.